Hey friends, welcome back to the Trinity Episcopal Church YouTube Bible study. I'm the Reverend Jimmy Abbott, the priest here at Trinity on Galveston Island, and let's talk about 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 1 through 13. That's the New Testament lesson for this Sunday, January 30th, 2022. A famous passage. I think so many of us have heard this. We hear it often at weddings. I think every organist and clergy person in the Episcopal Church knows this by heart because we always hear it at weddings. Here it is. If I speak in the tongues of mortals and of angels, but do not have love, I am a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. And if I have prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so as to remove mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. If I give away all my possessions, and if I hand over my body so that I may boast, but do not have love, I gain nothing. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoings, but rejoices in the truth. It bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. Obviously, it keeps going, and then it ends with, and now faith, hope, and love abide, these three, and the greatest of these is love. Again, I said that most often we hear this passage in the context of a wedding. And of course, it's so fitting for that when we think about two people getting married, committing themselves in love to one another and to God and the church. Really beautiful, brings tears to our eyes, all very well and good. But I want us to think about the original context of this passage. Remember, when we read all of 1 Corinthians, that there are some problems in the church at Corinth. There's some weird sexual immorality going on. There is bickering. There's a sort of one-upsmanship happening. People are claiming that maybe they're a better disciple of Jesus based on who baptized them. There are abuses at the Lord's Supper. Some people are eating a lot. Some people aren't getting anything. Some people are getting drunk. It's kind of a hot mess of a church. And that's what I think we have to keep in mind when we read 1 Corinthians 13. And in my mind, I actually hear Paul sort of wagging his finger. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is not boastful or arrogant or rude. To me, it's that he's calling the Corinthians to task, reproving them, correcting them, to live more loving lives, not like the life together that they had been living, which was all of those other things, boastful and arrogant and rude. So here's what I ask you now to reflect on. Where in your life, what situation, what relationship, what community in your life could use this shot of love? To know, to recognize that whatever thing going on right now is unhealthy, and the only solution, the only way out of that is this dose of love. And of course, this is not anything that we can do on our own, but we can try to model that. We can try to be more loving. Also knowing that this is the example that the Lord Jesus set for us. And I think that you could actually read it that way, starting in verse 4. Jesus is patient. Jesus is kind. Jesus is not envious or boastful or arrogant or rude. Jesus does not insist on his own way. Jesus is not irritable or resentful, does not rejoice in wrongdoing. In other words, the life that we are to live as Christians, this life of love, is modeled upon the Lord Jesus himself. That's difficult. We might end up on a cross. We might end up with people not liking us, but that is love. That is the true marker of what it means to be a Christian, to be a follower of Jesus, and to live in a Christian community. Thank you all so much for joining me for this brief Bible study on 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 1 through 13. Would love to hear from you. Put some comments here in the video or in our online classroom. Remember, you can subscribe and watch other videos right here on our YouTube channel. Thank you.